welcome back to Nature News. I'm Alice Ford, and this week we're talking paper soda bottles, seeds, birds, seagrasses, wildlife, and much more, so stay tuned. Wolves. They're an animal you know I love, and if you don't believe me, just check out my winter trip to Yellowstone from earlier this year. Well, it turns out that the Oregon wolves are starting to expand into Northern California, which is super exciting news for other wolf lovers like me. But sadly, with the removal of federal protection, 216 wolves were just killed in Wisconsin in less than 60 hours when their 1-week wolf hunting season started. Now, this was more than 82% above the authorities' stated quota, which sparked uproar among animal lovers and conservationists alike. It's state management plans like this that has wolf lovers in other states worried as well, because with the loss of federal protection, it's up to the states. Coca-Cola is trying out paper bottles instead of plastic ones in Hungary. This is in an effort to reduce plastic waste. A report from 2020 showed Coca-Cola and 3 other large beverage companies were responsible for 500,000 tons of plastic waste in 6 countries. Now, research suggests that not only does paper require more energy and greenhouse gas emissions to produce than plastic, but packaging with paper also requires more mass to fulfill the same function as plastic. The greater the mass, the greater the quantity that needs to be manufactured, and the greater the emissions. And also there's the amount of deforestation that it would require to create this much paper. Moreover, paper is also heavier to transport than plastic, resulting in greater vehicle emissions and an overall high impact on the environment. They also plan to use a plastic liner in these paper bottles, so this is more of a short-term fix than a long-term sustainable solution. While I give them credit for trying to make innovations, I don't know that this is the correct way to move forward, but I'm interested to see what other innovations they try out. Did you know there's a world seed bank? Well, it protects seeds from 5,000 edible plants on the planet, and it's located in Svalbard, Norway, which is a remote island in the Arctic Circle. Its purpose is to safeguard these seeds in the event of a global catastrophe so that people would be able to grow food even after the loss of all habitat. Now, seeds have been threatened by modern industrial agriculture, genetic mutations, disease, and climate change. And now climate change is actually threatening the seed bank itself. Now, researchers believed that Svalbard, with its cold and dry climate, would be the perfect place for the seed bank. But that was before climate change started, and now it's melting the permafrost, which is there to protect the seeds. So they're hurriedly making updates to keep these seeds protected. A little bit south of Svalbard in the city of Tromsø is not the seeds in danger, but birds. Kittywauks are a cliff-nesting seagull that rarely make their way to land, but lately they've been taking up residence in Tromsø. Now, nobody really knows why the kittywauks have left the cliffs and taken to the city, but sadly their numbers have dipped by almost 75% in the last 4 years. And now a group of locals in Tromsø have actually decided to build these kittywauks hotels just for birds so that they can have a place to raise their young without bothering people. Now, seabirds globally have plummeted in population by 70%, according to National Geographic, and the main culprits are climate change, overfishing, habitat loss, and human impact on the environment. And it's not just seabirds that are in danger. Almost all birds are in trouble. And birds are one of the most important pollinators on the planet. It's also the bird songs in the forest or out my window that make me really feel connected to nature and the planet. Bird songs, though, and the birds that sing them are disappearing in Southeast Asia and Asia altogether, as more and more birds enter the legal and illegal wildlife trade. Now, practically every songbird species in Southeast Asia faces a real risk of imminent extinction, leaving some forests in the region eerily silent. Songbirds are an important element of culture and tradition for people in Southeast Asia. In Java, for example, it's almost assumed that every household will have at least one pet songbird. The more birds, the more prestigious the home. But as more households buy caged birds, the forests become emptier. It's hard to be able to change these cultural ideas, but it is what we have to do going forward to save wildlife. Over in Namibia, oil drilling test wells have begun 160 miles from the wildlife-rich wetlands of the Okavango Delta, and in the midst of prime elephant habitat. Now, the company called Recon Africa has leased 13,000 square miles of land in Namibia and Botswana to explore for oil and gas. Unfortunately, a huge conservation area lies within this exploration zone, which is going to be putting imminent threat on some of the most majestic wildlife in the countries. And while developing nations are still moving forward with oil and gas exploration, the United States and many European countries are pushing forward with the electrification of the auto industry. But electric vehicles in the United States are just going to be completely inefficient unless we have the infrastructure nationwide to actually support vehicle charging. So you'll be excited to know that 6 major utilities actually unveiled a plan to add electric vehicle fast chargers to connect major highway systems across the United States. Now, this was after President Biden announced plans to add 55,000 charging systems across the US. And this electric highway coalition is made up of American Electric Power, Dominion Energy, Duke Energy, Entergy, Southern Co., and Tennessee Valley Authority. They're going to be providing charging stations within their service territories, which is going to go from the Atlantic coast through the Midwest and south into the Gulf and Central Plains regions as well. And this is really great news for those looking to get into the EV market. And if you guys are looking to get into the EV market and you missed my electric truck buying guide video, you can check it out at the link in the description. If there's one thing you rarely see while swimming at the beach, it's seagrass. But this is actually one of the most important plants in the ocean. Now, seagrasses don't get as much attention as coral reefs, but these hidden forests actually store carbon, keep the water clear, and are a vital habitat for marine life. Johnson seagrass is a type of seagrass located near Biscayne Bay, near Miami. And this tiny marine plant is at risk. It's threatened from human activities, dredging, boat propellers, pollution, and coastal developments. And it's actually the first and only marine plant listed on the Endangered Species Act as threatened. Now, the hidden forests of seagrass around the world are hugely important to carbon capture. They actually make up less than 0.2% of the seafloor, but represent 10% of the ocean's capacity to store carbon. They also keep water clear of sediment and cycle nutrients to fish, crustaceans, and shellfish. Now, sadly, they're some of the most threatened ecosystems on Earth. And that's from nutrient pollution, which comes from many sources like wastewater treatment facilities, stormwater, coastal developments, and agriculture. All the pollutants cause phytoplanktons and algae to grow, which reduces water clarity and light, which in turn kill seagrasses, fish, and marine life. So if you live near the ocean, make sure you're protecting this habitat. Make sure you're doing your part to reduce runoff and protect the ocean. That's all I've got for you this week. Don't forget to share this video with a friend so that we can spread the word on these important topics in wildlife science and nature. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys soon.